How do we pay our mortgages? How do we pay our car payments, our kids' tuition bills?
Federal workers are feeling the financial pinch as they continue to go unpaid during the partial government shutdown. Tonight, they're calling for a resolution. And how much do you really know about how Facebook collects your data? Your news starts now.
Live and local with coverage you can count on. This is WNEM TV5 News at 11.
It is dangerously cold at this hour. Temperatures are hovering near or below zero already. And that bitter cold that began last night is going to stay with us a little longer. But while a change is coming, it could bring a new kind of danger. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. I'm Meg McLeod in for David and Colette. Tonight's cold is likely the front end of a 1-2 punch. Chief Meteorologist Brian Bachman is tracking a system for us that could bring some messy weather. Hi there, Brian.
Hi there, Meg. It's a 1-2 punch that just feels more like a constant pummeling.
All right. Thank you so much, Brian. And one of the byproducts of these near zero temperatures is shelters are being inundated by people taking refuge from the cold. But as Scott Walchuk reports, they're urging people to come inside. He continues our team coverage live in downtown Saginaw. Scott?
TV5.
Thank you, Scott. And the deep freeze is putting our car batteries to the test, and many are failing. The owner of Gary's Towing and Auto Repair in Saginaw tells TV5, since temperatures plummeted, the phone has been ringing off the hook.
The cold weather really brings in a lot of business, brings in a lot of no starts and a lot of dead batteries.
He also says tire pressure tends to drop during cold snaps, so he recommends making sure they're properly inflated before you head out. And make sure you keep the TV5 mobile app nearby for updates on the weather and the news 24/7. It's in the App Store and on Google Play.
The vote this week in the Senate is not to pass the bill. It is to open up and say, can we debate this? Can we amend it? Can we make changes?
Senate Republicans are laying the groundwork for a vote on President Donald Trump's plan to reopen the federal government as we head toward day 32 of the partial shutdown. That plan includes an immigration deal in exchange for more than $5 billion for a wall, a deal House Democrats say is dead on arrival. The standoff is leaving 800,000 workers without a paycheck. As TV5's Kate Nadolski reports, concern is growing among those in mid-Michigan. Thank you, Kate. And people are answering the call to help members of our local U.S. Coast Guard station. So far, they've donated more than $8,600 in gift cards for members at the station in Essexville. As we told you on Thursday, the Essexville Public Safety Department will continue to collect gift cards until the shutdown is over. Students celebrated the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. through song and dance. This gathering at Saginaw High School was among many across mid-Michigan and the nation, paying tribute to the man who fought for civil rights and was killed because of it. Some braved near-zero temperatures for a unity march to remind people of the timelessness of Dr. King's message.
All people see the importance of having unity and love, and that's what MLK talked about, not just for black people, but for people as a whole.
Some people are letting their hands and hearts do the talking, packing meals for pantries. AmeriCorps and the United Way assembled 550 volunteers to package thousands of meals, putting Dr. King's words into action.
He had a great quote that said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are we doing for others? And I think today kind of represents that.
A remembrance leading to a practically full house at the Flint Public Library. The executive director tells TV5 it's important to remember and recommit to King's vision.
We want to also celebrate what has been accomplished so far and really get our young people engaged in understanding what the civil rights movement was, is, and needs to be.
She says the library has been hosting a celebration since 1982, a year before Martin Luther King Day became a holiday. An unusual weather phenomenon in mid-Michigan, where this spinning disc of ice was spotted, coming up. And a dog ends up stranded in chilly water. It's rescue in our Coast to Coast report. And do you really know how much information Facebook collects on you? That's next. tonight, do you know exactly how much Facebook tracks your activity? The Pew Research Center says most users don't even know how to access that information on their profiles. Facebook is among many sites that compile clickstream data through cookies. They enable marketing companies to compile records of a person's browsing habits. That data can include search history, purchase history, and your social media profile. 51% say they aren't comfortable with Facebook compiling the data. Cookies can be disabled by going to a browser's settings or privacy tab. A live look now over Mount Pleasant, where a family lost everything in a house fire. It happened this weekend on Highland Street, just west of the CMU campus. Crews arrived to find heavy smoke pouring out of the home. By the time they were done putting it out, it had caused $150,000 in damage. No one was injured. New research shows concussions affect children and adults differently, and the old prescription for healing might be wrong. Find out why. But first, here's Brian.
Hi, Meg. Thanks very much. Our low temperatures this morning, which dipped down into the teens below zero, running nearly 25 degrees below average. But how does about a 30-degree temperature swing in the positive direction sound? I'll show you that after the break.
Children with concussions experience symptoms longer than adults. Research in the Journal of the American Osteopathic Association found children under the age of 13, their symptoms last longer than they do for older teens. But the answer isn't total rest, as formerly recommended. Rather, get kids moving again.
We found that more than 48 hours of strict rest has actually negative consequences. So getting children, adolescents, adults back in their activities, school, work is actually producing better outcomes.
The study also finds children with ADHD, depression, or anxiety may have concussion symptoms that last even longer. A California couple died after a tree fell on their home. That's our top story as we go coast to coast in 60 seconds. The 75-foot-tall tree came down during a gust, crushing the home and killing 2 people on the second floor. A third person inside the home made it out safely. Flames engulfed a pile of tires at a Pennsylvania junkyard, sending plumes of smoke into the air. It's not known how it started, but no injuries were reported. Several tanker cars off the rails in northern Florida. At least 2 loaded with ethanol landed in a creek. There was no indication any of the cars were leaking, and there were no injuries. A Kentucky home badly damaged after it was struck by a car that went out of control on a slick road. Investigators also say the driver was under the influence and was charged accordingly. And a close call for a dog in New Jersey. It fell through the ice on a river and was unable to get out. First responders pulled the dog to safety and took it away in a police car. And that's your news, coast to coast in 60 seconds. Caught on camera, a spinning disc of ice right here in mid-Michigan. A hiker spotted this formation this afternoon on the Cedar River in Gladwin, and his wife wanted to make sure to share this moment with TV5 viewers. Thank you so much. The disc in Gladwin is similar to this one in Maine that we showed you last week, but it doesn't come anywhere close in size. The one in Maine was a whole football field across. And some incredible photos from Ontario showing parts of Niagara Falls frozen. It's one of the places under an extreme cold weather warning. Despite the bitter cold, though, the tourist attraction reported a steady stream of visitors came by to check out this incredible sight.
Certified.
Thank you so much, Brian. And for all of your breaking news and weather 24/7, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. The Spartans look to remain perfect in Big Ten play. Scott Johnson has the highlights straight ahead.
Two great basketball teams here in the state of Michigan, without a doubt, and plenty of great high school games. There are basketball teams as well.
So lots of basketball to watch.
Oh, there's all kinds going to be happening this week, without a doubt.
Okay, thank you, Scott. It could be a scene out of an Alfred Hitchcock movie. Find out what's behind this eye-popping moment straight ahead. Caught on on camera a massive flock of starlings swooping and whirling in the sky over a nature preserve in Britain. You're looking at a murmuration, a formation that happens daily around the time the sun goes down. According to bird experts, starlings show this behavior before they roost for the night for many reasons, including finding safety from predators and exchanging information.
Crazy.
Yes, it's kind of creepy to see them whirling around like that.
Yeah, I think you're watching Moses or something like that. Here comes the
right. Yes, some other worldly power at work. All right, so as we head the next couple days here, we got the bitter cold, of course, once again tonight, and that rolls straight on into a wintry mess tomorrow. We'll see some snow arriving in the evening, then changing over to a wintry mix and rain primarily in the southern half of the area. So an inch or less of total snow accumulation for Flint and I-69 into Wednesday. 1 to 3 around the Tri-Cities, Alma, and the north end of the Thumb. And folks on the north end of the Bay and west toward Mount Pleasant and Clare, you're primarily going to stay snow throughout the event. So you're looking at a total of 3 to 5 inches by the time things wind down Wednesday afternoon. Some of us even seeing upper 30s, which is going to feel like a heat wave after this cold, but it's going to be brief. We're right back into the teens as Snowfest begins this week.
I wouldn't be surprised if I see some T-shirts out there.
You know after this, no.
All right, thank you, Brian, and thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Overnight news, make sure you check in with the TV5 mobile app, WNEM.com, and wake up starting at 4:30. Have a good one.